I'm Joanne Williams. This man and his wife are the proud parents today of 6 babies.
I'm Vince Gibbons. American influences in Japan. How deep do they go?
I'm Mike Miller. There's a new program designed to help your children make responsible decisions.
I'm Tom Hooper, and I'll tell you why I don't like grocery carts.
Now from the News Center, this is TV6 News at 5 with Vince Gibbons, Mike Miller, Vince Candela, Tom Pippins, and featuring Tom Hooper, Joanne Williams, and the entire TV6 News team.
Well, it took dozens of doctors, but a California woman gave birth today to septuplets. That is 7 babies. Joanne Williams is here with more on that. How are they doing, Joanne?
Well, they're in stable condition, but they all have a breathing problem that newborns often have, that premature newborns often have. 6 of them have survived. The 7th died before birth. There were 36 people in the delivery room when these babies were born this morning. And here's a report that I did just a few minutes ago. St. Joseph's Hospital and the Children's Hospital of Orange County, California, began preparing for these births way back in March. Patricia Frustacy of Riverside, California, had taken a fertility drug called Pergonal. She then became pregnant with 7 babies. This morning, 6 of the babies were born alive. They weighed between 1.1 pounds and 1.3 pounds. During her pregnancy, Patricia gained up to 70 pounds. She was having difficulty breathing and getting around, and the doctors felt they should wait no longer to deliver the babies.
Felt there was very little to gain and a great deal to lose in terms of her health and overall condition by delaying her delivery.
Patricia Frustacy is still in the intensive care unit this afternoon and still sedated. But the baby's father, Samuel, met the press with a sense of humor and a sense of warmth.
It's a unique experience and one that you get very emotionally involved with. To see that they're so small and yet to realize that they're fighting for their lives, and you just hope and pray that they'll come out okay.
Now, the babies have been named A, B, C, D, E, F. They don't have names for these babies yet, but the enthusiasm you probably saw on the face of Sam Frustacy, I'm sure it won't be long before they have names. In fact, he said that he and his family members had talked about having a baseball team. And now
He's got one now.
Now they have
a basketball team. Anyway.
Yes, that's what he said. They have 4 boys and 2 girls, and they already have a boy at home.
That's great.
So now they have 6 little babies to take care of.
Yeah, and you have some other notes today, I believe, don't you? Or is that coming a little later?
Coming on a little later. But there is an Alzheimer's movie on tonight, 8 o'clock,
right,
called Do You Remember Love? Interesting movie about Alzheimer's.
Okay, we'll have that later. Thank you very much, Joanne. A rescue operation continues on a capsized oil rig in a Louisiana bayou. Divers are working now to see if any of the 5 crew members still missing may be alive inside the barge-type vessel. But their efforts are being hampered by a coating of diesel fuel that now covers the search area and bad weather. So far, 6 bodies have been recovered. 11 other people have been rescued. The Miller Brewing Company is starting a nationwide program aimed at reducing alcohol abuse. Miller employees here in Milwaukee could be seen role-playing today, pretending to be bartenders or drunken customers as part of their training. These employees will train beer distributors, who will in turn train bartenders and waitresses on how to recognize and deal with people who have had too much to drink.
Building trust with your child. It's tough sometimes, but 2 groups, the National Association of State Boards of Education and the National Tobacco Institute, say they have a program to help. Walker Merriman of the Tobacco Institute and Jolly Ann Davidson of the NASB, the National Association of State Boards of Education, have developed with us right now, and they have a program, and this pamphlet came out of that, called Helping Youth Decide. It came out of the question, what do you do when you don't think your kids can handle decisions? What do we do about all of that?
Well, I think it's very clear, Vince, that this publication that we've had a hand in helping to give some birth to, along with the National Association of State Boards of Education, will help a lot of people in Wisconsin and elsewhere. So far, about 4,200 of them have been distributed in Wisconsin, 300,000 nationwide, free of charge to parents to help them help their children make responsible lifestyle decisions and choices and open up lines of communication.
Ms. Davidson, what are the signs as a parent that your child, your adolescent, may be having difficulties making key decisions in life?
I think there are a number of signs, but I'm not sure that parents always recognize those signs, and that's what this booklet is all about. I think that too many times as parents we talk to them rather than listening to them. We need to do more listening. We need to help them. You know, at that time of life, peer pressure is so great, and I think that we can perhaps sense they're having problems if they are continually always going along with the crowd, so to speak, rather than being able to stand up and be counted for themselves.
I noticed in reading over the booklet that it talked about how to communicate with your child in a manner that is acceptable. For instance, instead of saying, you should be helping me with the dishes, you're lazy, you don't like to do anything, instead try, I hate doing these dishes.
Right. That's very, very good point. I think too many times that we approach them in that style, or we also immediately accuse them of something. And then what happens is the youngster goes on the defensive, and they're not going to communicate at all. You also probably noticed in the booklet that it suggests that we spend at least 3 to 5 minutes, preferably 10 at least, talking about not problems with our young people, but just throwing back and forth ideas, whether it be world events or whether it be films, that type of thing. Just having a down-to-earth conversation, treating them like you would treat a friend.
The State Board of Education connection makes sense. Walker Merriman, why is the Tobacco Institute involved in this project?
Well, for many, many years, Vince, it's been our industry's very firm position that children should not smoke. Smoking's an adult custom. It always has been, should remain so. Kids don't have the maturity of judgment that's necessary to make that decision. We've done a lot of things over the years, volunteering to go off radio and television advertising, voluntarily taking celebrities out of advertising in the early 60s, not sampling around college and university campuses or even high schools and junior highs. This is an extension of that program as well. And the other part of it really for the state of Wisconsin involves some legislation that's just been introduced in Madison to ban the sale of cigarettes to anyone under the age of 18. And we support that legislation wholeheartedly. There's also a penalty clause involved for any store clerk who does sell cigarettes to anyone under the age of 18. That legislation, we think, is part and parcel of this whole effort, and we stand behind it.
Walker Merriman, Jolly Ann Davidson, thank you both for being with us today on the TV6 News at 5.
Thank you.
Mike?
And up next, Vince visits a country that's caught between the old and the new.
The country is Japan, and today's report deals with American influences in that Asian nation.